everyone, so I thought I would change up how I do my toy haul. So this time around I'm going to try to do more of my face this time, as well as try to get more close-ups of the figures. Maybe I'll do punch-ins of the very specific moments. And yeah, today I'm going to be opening up some Star Wars Black Series as well as a few Marvel Legends. Let's start off with this Marvel Legends figure I picked up. I was actually kind of excited to pick her up. Her name's Darkstar. I'm not too familiar with this character, but the figure looked surprisingly decent. She does come with a good amount of hands, and she does come with the torso of the Ursa Major, which seems to be like a big bear. So, oh, cool. She has two separate plastic bubblers, so that's nice. And she also has a very unique design background. I don't know if you can see it, but it seems to have a bunch of, I think, Russian superheroes, because that's her backstory. And I can even tell that the Crimson Dynamo is right here. So that's cool. I like how easy the hands are right now to come out of the plastic bubbler. That's very good. Here is the Darkstar figure. I don't know if you can get close up, but she's a pretty decent looking figure. She has some decent shoulder bend that's at least above a 90-degree angle, so that's cool. 45-degree elbow bending. She does get some little bit of wrist movement, so that's good. Her legs got this far, so she does have a bit of hip movement, so that's good. So knee bending, ooh. What is always, yeah. So right leg's fine, but the left leg is definitely, it feels kind of similar to Jaxxon, where it feels like it can break at any moment, and definitely feels like it's like a weak knee joint. Disappointing. Cool sculpt. She does have a bit of a ankle bend, and she does have the, kind of has an ankle swivel. Yeah, she has kind of an ankle swivel too, so that's good. And then her figure does come with two sets of some fists and two open hands, but they're kind of forming like a, they're closed, but they're open enough. Overall, I'd say it's not a bad figure. I enjoy it a lot. Decent at least. Yeah. Aside from this left leg, which, yeah, you can kind of see it too, like, it should not be able to be bending like that. And you can kind of do it on the right one, but it feels like a lot more straightforward head on. Well, this feels like it's already bent. So, but overall, I enjoy it. I spent maybe about $9 after some GameStop promo points I had, so not a bad figure to get for that price, at least in my opinion. Oh, I also forgot to mention, she does have a bit of a head swivel too, although it looks kind of weird because her hair moves in like a singular piece. But yeah, good figure, good figure. Alright, so my second figure I'm going to open up, and it's a bit of a new one that I purchased pretty recently. I picked up Classic Loki. He was on clearance at Target for about $12, so after tax about $14. Classic Loki, I loved his portrayal, and I love it's the he's the guy from the First Order that replaced General Hux in Rise of Skywalker. Kind of awkward packaging. They have the second head in like this like protective cardboard packaging. It's very extra of them, but I actually kind of appreciate it just because it feels like it protects it a lot better. Here's like his stern face, if you can see it. Okay. He comes with the right foot of Khonshu, and he does come with like two separate pair of hands that has effects on it, which look really awesome. And then he also comes with additional effects. Detail-wise, he looks great. Like very spot on with the actual actor in mind, and all of his details on his outfit too look pretty detailed as well. Like the belt area of his figure, there's a lot of little tiny like areas that pop out for like additional plastics. Very cool details. Let me pop out his arm. I don't imagine it's gonna be very high because of the shoulder of the cloak. About a 20 to 30 degree bend. It's not the greatest, but it's okay. Arms bending in, that's good. The elbow articulation is 45 degree. A bit of wrist movement too, so that's nice. He also does this weird torso bending out. It is very creepy, but I'm not against it. Actually, that's pretty posable. A lot of hip movement and open availability. Knees feel very stiff, but I don't like that stomach bend at all now. Because it feels like it gets in the way when you're bending it because you can move it up and down. Guys, that is super stiff. Like, holy shit. So his legs do definitely bend in that flat 90-degree angle, but because of how hard it is to do, it's actually discouraged. Because if you bend his leg, you're also going to be bending his torso really weirdly too. I also like that these figures don't have the pegs that go inside to like show the joints, so it's actually like a single piece, so that's really good. Ankle bending, so that's, and then no ankle swiveling. Well, it's a little bit more like this type of rotation. He's a really great figure overall. I would say he's definitely worth his $14 price tag. Now, is he worth buying this at full retail price? I'd probably say maybe. I mean, $26 to buy a figure is definitely getting on the pricier side, so I can understand people getting chastised by this. But the figure is very, very detailed, and it's probably like one of the best sculpts I've ever purchased. I would say for that alone, his figure definitely would probably be worth it. Pretty close. So it's kind of a shame that he got cleared so quickly from Target. So I picked up Boba at FYE for about 18. Well, he was listed at 18, but I had a coupon, so I was able to bring him down to 16. I think that's the price I'm seeing online right now for this figure, and I think one of the reasons why I decided to jump on this figure of Boba was that it did specifically come with a soft goods cloak. So as you can kind of see, it's actually fabric instead of like the hard plastics that we have been getting when it comes to like that type of stuff. When I saw that immediately, I knew this was an instant want and purchase. So let's open him up. This figure feels pretty good. Definitely similar in terms of weight to the Loki figure, so that's very good. So with the cloak on, his arms can go out that far. But I have a feeling if you really want... Nope, yeah, you can't go further because of the shoulders. Let's look underneath. So you kind of get a little bit of what we had with the Book of Boba Fett figure. It's the same legs. It's a very similar mold to his armored version. It's just his torso is what we see when he's with the Tuskens, I guess. His arm does bend at a 45 degree. No wrist movement, not really. Really cool details on his hands too. Like it's very separated with all the distinct textures. Yeah, legs are very similar to the regular Boba Fett one, and the legs bend that way too, where the pants act as a knee cover. Overall, I'd say he's a pretty good figure. Very well detailed. I love the use of the cloth fabric coat. I feel like I really miss it when Hasbro would do that more often. Yeah, just this figure has a lot of awesome details on it. I guess because of how detailed his hands, I personally find the fingers to be fairly hard to the point where I can't really move them. But I know people can. Definitely comparable to his Boba Fett version. I thought that was a great figure. I personally, and considering that this is considered a non-deluxe figure, the Book of Boba Fett figure shouldn't have been priced as deluxe, but for like $16, this figure is this is a great purchase. I'm actually going to get a side-by-side comparison really quickly. Pretty comparable, but if you look at his actual clothes, they're for the most part like a one-for-one copy-ish. Aside from a different colored cube. Not a bad thing, but just something I noticed. Let's open up Maz Kanata. Maz I picked up back in March, and I don't know when this video is going to get released, so just bear with me for a second. So let's open her up. Wow, look at that plastic right there, like that empty negative space. Oh, so this is the Maz Kanata figure. Her eye goggles do come up and down. I'm gonna keep them on just because it's in character. Well, her shoulders get that 90-degree bend, maybe even a little bit more. Elbow bending. Wow, her left arm is very loose right here. That's what I'm noticing. Same here too. No wrist movement. It's actually just a fixed position. I think because of how small the figure is. A lot of knee bending. Holy shit. Look at that. Look at this lady. Not a 90-degree bend. It's more like a 45. Not bad though for this figure. Ankle bending. Does have that full ankle bending as well as the swiveling. Not bad. Very fitting for this figure. This figure does have like a lot of cool details. Her shoes are very colorful. There's the details on her arms with all the different jewelry pieces are captured, and including all the wrinkles on her face. For a smaller figure on the Black Series side, definitely does capture Maz's likeness very well. The treasure chest, this is what the Halloween one was based off of. Personally, I like the Halloween one because it comes with the candy bars, but this does come with Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. So this will make for a really great add-on piece. Overall, the Maz figure she's pretty good. Nothing wrong with her, can't complain about it. So for the last figure I'm going to open up, Jaxxon. Jaxxon I got at a really good price. He's part of those comic book collector series that opens up and it's like you see the figure and it's usually based off some sort of comic book art. I bought him at FRA for about $10, which was a huge deal. And I know he's still listed for like 26. He's definitely a really cool figure just because I think he's expanded universe that may have been made canon recently. And in terms of his design, this is... If people complain that there aren't enough brand new molds for toys, and then they keep buying Clone Trooper figures, you know, they should definitely pick up this figure maybe. Oh, we'll see in a second. So let's get to opening him up. Really cool. And even with the box too, it's going to make for a really great display piece. You gotta love that noise. Oh. Alright, so at first glance, here's his figure. He's got a lot of cool details. Very cool spacesuit, and his figure does have some decent articulation. Like right now it's at a 90-degree bend, 45, and there is a bit of a wrist movement too. It's very minimal, but there is a little bit there, so that's cool. Oh, he does get a bit of torso movement too, so that's interesting. But his legs though, he does have those bolts, but they don't look too bad. You bend. Oh, that's a weird flat degree surface. I don't like that knee bend. I think that's just something I'm gonna have to live with most Hasbro and Marvel Legend figures. Ooh, very fluid, and a bit of an ankle swivel. And he does come with 2 guns. Does have 2 trigger fingers. I'll give him Tusken on his blaster. Although I know he comes with dual blasters, I'd rather just keep this holstered. Oh, look at that! Like, look how easy it is to just push out these fingers. Nothing like the fucking Boba Fett figure. Oh. Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty. Oh. I like this figure a lot just because of that alone. He has a good heft to it, and the fact that you're able to like bend those fingers so easily to get the gun in there, he makes for a very enjoyable experience. For $10, he's an absolute steal. I do recommend picking him up. And is he worth the price tag though originally of like say $26 to maybe even $36? I would say yes, but also no, just because his figure also just didn't come with a lot of attachments. But the figure itself though, it's very freaking good. Alright, so here are my final thoughts for these figures. Honestly, from this batch of this toy haul batch, none of these figures were actually bad. They were all pretty good in their own right. And there were 2 figures that are really, honestly, really great figures. I think my favorite will have to go down to Jaxxon. His figure is very articulated, as well as it's a brand new mold. It looks great, and it feels like a really good figure. And on top of it, posable fingers, easy. Maybe Jaxxon's not worth that full original price tag, maybe, but I think because he's a original mold, I would give him the benefit of the doubt too. I also will give my second favorite, at least, is Classic Loki too, just because he comes with a lot of effects that I like, at least for the price tag of $14. And if you want to go up to maybe 26, I think he's a pretty good figure for that price tag alone too. I like Darkstar figure. Her figure is really good. There are details I like about it, but her figure does have that weak left foot. It just bothers the crap out of me. I think Maz Kanata is a really good figure, especially for that $10 price tag. I don't know if I would have picked her up initially though if she was full priced. Mostly just because it didn't seem like it was worth it to buy like a $26 figure for such a small figure. And then she doesn't even come with that much in my opinion. But a very detailed figure though. And also I do like Boba Fett. I like that he comes with a soft goods cloak as well as, you know, he does come with his additional armaments. I do wish that his fingers were a little bit more bendable. Like at least especially in comparison to Jaxxon's. Good, great, good, great. And in all honesty, I guess if I had to pick it, these two would be my least favorite. And then these two would be my favorite figures from this haul. And yeah, that's pretty much about it. If you guys like this video, feel free to like it as well as subscribe. Feel free to tell me which of these 5 figures was your favorite. And as always, I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!